Greetings, it's Ian from RTO here. Welcome to a Friday on the channel, and a busy one at that. 3 videos today. We've got the live album ranking, we've got a new album, and a one-off album to do today. So we're going to start off with the live album. Now, a few weeks ago, someone watched when I reviewed Never Mind the What's It's by the Sex Pistols. And I says, are you going to review any more Sex Pistols? And I thought, well, okay, they've got the Great Rock and Roll Swindle, which was a film, and there's been so many compilations. So I thought, no, I will do their live albums. Sex Pistols, of course, formed in 1975. They had a career of just 2.5 years. But they were the band that initiated punk here in the UK and inspired so many punk and post-punk and alternative rock bands. People have been in the band. There's been quite a lot, actually. We'll start on the early members. Now, first guitarist was Wally Nightingale. He was the guitarist in 1975. Sadly, passed away in 1996. Nick Kent did guitars as well in 1975, and Steve New also the guitars in 1975. So they went through 3 guitar players in 1975 before they come up with Steve Jones. Steve New sadly passed away in 2010. Then we have John Lydon, or Johnny Rotten, Steve Jones, Paul Cook, and Glenn Matlock was the first bass player. He left in 1977, and he come back for the reunions because the person that took over was Sid Vicious, who was with the band a year, and then when he left he died in 1979. So they're all the people that have been in Sex Pistols. Now I like the Sex Pistols. I thought they were a good fun band. You know, I remember them. I was 10, 11, 12 when they were sort of around, and I just like the noise, really. So they released, I can think, 5 official albums. There's lots of bootlegs for the Sex Pistols. You go to record fairs and you'll find plenty of bootleg albums of the Sex Pistols, but I'm going to just concentrate on the 5 that they allegedly were released officially. So, coming in at number 5, we have an album that was released in 2008, and it's called Live and Filthy. Now, I don't know when any of this is recorded. I don't know who sings on it. But the tracks on here, most of these tracks, of course, come off Never Mind the What's It's. Here's the Sex Pistols, plus a few songs from the Great Rock and Roll Swindle, and then the B-sides and odd tracks here and there. So we've got on here Anarchy in the UK, No Feelings Liar, I Wanna Be Your Dog. I like that track. No Fun New York is a brilliant track. 17, Don't Gimme No Lip Child, Pretty Vacant, I Wanna Be Me, Search and Destroy, Substitute, I'm a Lazy Sod, Submission, Come On Everybody, Satellite Kid, Chatterbox, Something Else, Tiger Pants, No Lip, Belson Was a Gas, bit controversial of course, and I'm Not Your Stepping Stone, which is a Monkey song, and My Way. Well, I couldn't find this album anywhere to listen to either. It's out of print at the moment, so I can't really rank it as such. But looking at the songs on it, it was a blast, but I can't find it to listen to, so I can't really give an opinion. So I shall have to give that a 0, because I just don't know what it sounds like. I think I've heard a couple of bits off it, but the recordings are pretty naff. Okay, coming in at number 4. This is from 2004, and it's called Raw and Live. It's a 2-disc. The first disc is the Sex Pistols, and the second is Vicious White Kids, a band that featured Sid Vicious, Glenn Matlock, Steve New and Rat Scabies. Ratscape is, of course, being from the Damned. So the first one is the Sex Pistols, which is Pretty Vacant, No Feelings, I Wanna Be Me, I'm a Lady Sod, Submission, Eddie Cochran's Come On Everybody, Search and Destroy, Anarchy in the UK, Satellite No Lip. And then we have this Bill Grundy interview. Disc 2, I can tell you, that was actually recorded at the Electric Ballroom in London in 1978. It's Something Else, Coming On Everybody, and Stepping Stones. So they open up with 3 covers, 2 Eddie Cochran, 1 Monkeys, No Lip, I Wanna Be Your Dog, Bells and Whistles Glass, Chatterbox, Tight Pants, My Way, the Frank Sinatra classics, Search and Destroy, and another version of My Way. They're very poor recordings, actually. But it was just nice. The second disc, it's nice to see some of the original members of Steve New. There's no recordings of Steve New about, so it was things. So for nostalgic reasons, I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 3 out of 10. Okay, coming in at number 3. Now this was released in its entirety. It had been in a released by Warner Brothers in 1980 as a Lost Leader sampler, but in 2001 they released it in its entirety, and it's live at Winterland in San Francisco. And the band on this was Johnny Rotten, Steve Jones, Sid Vicious, and Paul Cook. Opens up with God Save the Queen from Nevermind the Doo-Doos. I Wanna Be Me. Now this is the B-side of Anarchy in the UK. It's a good track. 17 from Nevermind the Whatsits, classic song. New York, I love that. The brilliant EMI. Belsom Was a Gas, which is actually from the great Rock and Roll Swindle. Bodies, Holidays in the Sun, one of my favourite tracks by the Sex Pistols. No Feelings, Problems, I'm Pretty Vacant. Anarchy in the UK. No Fun, which is the Stooges cover. Not one of their best performances. They were quite rude to the Americans, and I don't think the Americans really appreciated it. I mean, the Ramones, these made the Ramones look like angels. And obviously I think the Ramones were a little better musicians, but it's quite fun to listen to, especially John Lydon giving the Americans, he was giving them some stick. It's a bit nostalgic, so I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 5 out of 10. Okay, then coming in at number 2. Now this was released first in 1978, and then it was remastered in 2001, and it's Anarchy in the UK, live at the 76 Club, recorded on the 24th of September 1976 at the so-called Club. So this is Johnny Rotten, Steve Jones, Glenn Matlock, and Paul Cook. It's very similar set to the Winterland. We've got Anarchy in the UK, I Wanna Be Me, 17, which is titled I'm a Lazy Sod on this. Nevermind from the Nevermind the Whatsits. New York, titled Dolls New York on this album. No Lip, which was titled Don't Give Me No Lip Child, which is a Dave Berry song. Stepping Stones on here. Of course, Monkey song. Satellite, which is the B-side of Holidays in the Sun. Very good submission. Liar. And then a version of Substitute by the Who. No Feelings. No Fun, again the Stooges song. They don't do a bad version of that, actually. And then Pretty Vacant. Then there's a bit where they have problems with the PA. It breaks. And they end the set with Problems. It's not a bad recording, actually. I like this for nostalgic. And the crowd, it's a British crowd. They're going absolutely wild on this. And it's a bit of nostalgia to hear the Sex Pistols playing at their sort of peak So I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking F7 out of 10. But my number one Sex Pistols album, believe it or not, is from 1996, and it was recorded at Finsbury Park on that great reunion of the band, and it's called Filthy Lucre Live. So the band is Johnny Rotten, Steve Jones, Glenn Matlock and Paul Cook. So again, most of these songs are off basically the same songs that we've talked about. So in this set they open up with Bodies, 17, New York and No Feelings, Did You Know Wrong. Now this is a song written by Steve Jones, Paul Cook, Glenn Matlock and Molly Nightingale, so it's a really early song that is. God Save the Queen and Liar, Satellite, I'm Not Your Stepping Stone, Holidays in the Sun's brilliant on here. Submission's great. It's Pretty Vacant. What a version of this song. Probably one of the best versions you'll ever hear. EMI again, best version. Anarchy in the UK and Problems. Okay, I like this album because the sound's fantastic, and because I think they're a lot older, their playing is far better than when they were younger, to be quite honest. And this album, I think most of the songs on this live album are probably the definitive versions of these songs. I love the original rawness, and the studio versions are really good, but live performances, these are the best. This is a great album. I love playing this. It was just great that they got together, and I know they've had a bit of a fallout regarding that TV program because John was not involved. I mean, John's had a hard time. He lost his wife this year as well. So this is just a great piece of genius for me, and I love playing this album. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 8 out of 10. So there we are, a short but brief look at some Sex Pistols live albums. As I said, most of them are pretty raw and some of the recordings, but it's such nostalgia, and it's a very important part of music history, punk scene. We talk about it a lot on the live stream, and what Mike Vinyl Spiral says, this was the music that was going to win the music, but it didn't. It sort of, if it weren't for this, we wouldn't have got a lot of great bands. Anyway, coming up next, we've waited 22 years for a new album from the fantastic Peter Gabriel, but is it good? We'll find out in the next video. So I'll see you very soon. Bye for now.